Chapter 6. A Word Spoken in Due Season. I will never forget my high school guidance counselor. He spoke a word to me that still lingers in my heart, a word that causes me to examine and use precaution in pursuing intimate relationships. He looked me sternly in the eye as he said these words. "You are an attractive young lady, which is why I must warn you not to become involved with any of the young men in this school. According to school records, a couple of the males are HIV positive. I'm not allowed to give you their names, but one thing is certain. You cannot discern their physical illness by their outward appearances." As I walked down the hallways of my former high school, I could not help but wonder about the names of the males my counselor was unable to disclose. Since then, sexually transmitted diseases have become more prevalent. HIV/AIDS is the second leading cause of death for men ages 25 to 44. More and more young people are beginning to take the epidemic seriously. Most young people report exercising greater caution in their sexual activities by always using condoms, being tested for HIV regularly, and decreasing their sexual activity. Yet, many still do not take the epidemic seriously and do not exercise precaution. Some people believe nothing bad can happen to them. They believe they are invulnerable and will live forever. These feelings of invulnerability may be the reason for such risk-taking behavior among young adults. On the other hand, many HIV-positive people continue to infect others and avoid HIV testing. The old adage goes, "Misery loves company." This attitude is selfish and is the reason wisdom and discretion should be used in relationships. This story hits close to home for me because a couple of years ago, I had two cousins who died of AIDS. They were young, handsome males in their late 20s. Their lifestyle of carelessness and promiscuity led to an early grave. Before their deaths, my mother and I went to her hometown. She and I were talking about the oppression and poverty in this small town. There were many single-parent homes, unwed mothers, and much unemployment. Many of the people were addicted to drugs, and a number were dying of AIDS. My mother insisted I visit my cousins and share my testimony with them. Her heart went out for her family, and she thought my talking with them might cause them to desire a personal relationship with Christ. At the time, I was 19 years old. I care about my family's well-being as much as my mother cares, but I felt they would not receive what I had to say. They did not have a Christian upbringing, so I assumed my words would go in one ear and out the other. My mother persuaded me to speak to my cousins, but I went unwillingly. I spoke about Jesus' salvation plan and attested to his healing power performed in my own life. My cousins listened intently. I offered an invitation for salvation, but they were not ready, which was evident by their silence. I figured my visit and sharing was just a waste of time. Over time, I realized that my assumption was wrong. A couple of months after visiting with my cousins, I received an unexpected phone call. At first, I did not recognize the voice. It was another long-lost cousin. He had never called before, and I hadn't seen him in several years. To my surprise, he said he had wanted to contact me for the longest time. He had seen me visit a couple of times at my grandmother's house and wanted to talk to me, but didn't. "My family told me a while ago that you came and spoke to them about salvation and the healing power of Jesus Christ. I have been ill for a while and have an incurable blood disease. Please come and visit and pray for me." At the time, it did not register in my mind that the disease my cousin spoke of was AIDS. I spoke to my parents and my older brother, and we took a trip to my parents' hometown to see my cousin. He was weak and had to stop working because his condition was worsening. He was blind in one eye and only had partial sight in the other. We ministered to him, and he accepted Christ as his personal savior, but he did not have the faith to believe God could heal him. He was enduring unbearable pain and wanted to be free from his misery. He held on to this word my brother spoke to him. To be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. Shortly thereafter, he was admitted to the hospital and became aware his days on this earth were numbered. We visited him often, bringing uplifting music and tapes of the Bible, because he could barely see because of his failing eyesight. Before passing away, he made a list of all the people with whom he had been sexually intimate. He also believed that another cousin of ours also had AIDS, and he advised him to get himself checked. My cousin died that year, and shortly after that, my other cousin died of the same ailment. I now realize the Lord had me speak a word to my cousin in due season because he foreknew what lay ahead. I'm glad I was obedient to the voice of my mother and God.
Selah. The generous will prosper. Those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. Proverbs 11:25. Words of the wise. Your life lies before you like a path of driven snow. Be careful how you tread it, because every step will show. Lowry Williams.